All right, this is Sean for your strategic to tactical weekly market update. It's August 16th, and I am going to go over the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Russell. Just go over some levels and some of my thoughts going into next week. Um, I did a quick video. Was it Thursday, Friday morning? Just to give a quick update going into Friday. What I thought after the last week, basically culminating to the week. Kind of said that we're somewhat overbought, and we're definitely gotten to some pretty heavy resistance in the S&P, especially. Also the Nasdaq being we're right at those yearly highs that we were up against, and just was like, hey, you know what, the market could use a pause here, and it actually opened quite well, and seemed like it was on its way until there's rumors coming out of Russia, Ukraine, really spooked the market. And again, I think the market was just vulnerable technically, and that just used that as an excuse to really take a hit, if you will, and to test some of the people that were buying on Friday and who had bought in the last couple of days. So without further ado, this is the S&P right here. The big resistance I was talking about the whole week was this 1955-ish area, and the market was strong all week. Very impressive run off these lows. Definitely the risk reward was on the long side, and it definitely worked out. But Friday, like I said, we just hit against some pretty heavy resistance. That being said, it's very impressive to me how the market reacted on Friday after these bearish news came out, and then again the sellers of the bears really had an opportunity to close it real weak, but instead, the S&P actually closed quite well, even though it closed below the open. That it actually came back as much as it did was pretty impressive, and then we actually closed right on that 1955, right? That big resistance area. So, and right in between, here's the 21-day and the 50-day, right, smack in between both those moving averages. So. Again, very impressive. One of the oscillators down here that I was talking about that was somewhat definitely overbought was the VIX RSI, but Friday's action definitely pushed it back out of that little danger band right there. So that's actually pretty good sign. May potentially give us some fuel going into next week to maybe take out the high of last week. So. Going into next week, the key levels, right now, just real quick looking at it, it's going to be Friday's high is going to be a pretty key level of 1964, and I'm just going to tell you, since Friday was such a big day, the low of Friday is going to also be a pretty big support area. But what I really would like to see is maybe a couple inside days in here to really maybe add a little bit more fuel to the potential move, back, breaking above last week's highs. Maybe get these oscillators more, to much more neutral levels. But again, market doesn't do what I hope it does or whatever. So again, I think. I'm definitely leaning a little bit, definitely to the bullish side next week. Of course, all that can change if something stupid happens in the world. That's the big thing now, geopolitical or whatnot. But I think the market is technically very strong. It's a very good bounce, a lot of good action as far as how a lot of stocks, really breaking out, making new highs. There's some momentum coming back. Yeah, I'd really like to see some inside days here, and then pop above these Friday's highs. I mean, if that happens and you're short, man, you better be quick to cover. And if you're out of your longs, you're going to be scratching your head like, whoa, am I going to miss this run if we take out these highs? And then it could be one of those real, the pain trade. I think right now is actually going up, not down. You turn on the TV, people talking about, market overbought, bubble, yada yada yada. Again, pain trades going up, not down. So I think a lot of professionals out there are really hoping the market to go down and maybe buy at lower levels, cover their shorts, whatever you want. So let's go over the Nasdaq here real quick. Here's the Nasdaq. Even more, here's your relative strength versus the S&P. It's been definitely stronger than the S&P. You see a lot more green here than red over the past month or so, and it's right at these multi-year highs. And again, definitely looking for a place to put your money for the next move higher would be more in technology, I think. Until that changes. Right now, it looks like that's where the money's going. Is technology. The tech sector here is definitely much stronger. Same thing with the S&P with the Friday. It was interesting. The S&P actually rallied, or actually, here we go. Here's the S&P right here. When it did get spooked by this Russia, went to the 618 retracement from Tuesday's low to Friday's high, went right to 618 and bounced. The Nasdaq went to the 50%, exactly right to the 50% of the week's range, and then bounced. So again, holding up stronger, and here we are. It actually closed, above Thursday's high. So we'll see going into this week if that continues. Again, here's a VIX RSI here that definitely got a little overbought, but that's coming off now too. So we get a day or two of just inside days. It will just add fuel to that potential move higher. So let's see here. Let's go over the Russell. Okay, that's obviously been a lot weaker. Everyone's talking about the Russell. The bears have been really flying this flag of the Russell's taking a take down the market. Well, when you think about it, it's the small cap world. I mean, how much money compared to the S&P or the Nasdaq is really in the Russell 2000? Not much. I mean, I don't have the number off my head, but it's a freaking small cap index, for crying out loud. But again, sure, okay, this is where risk is really going to want to go if we want to, put money to work. But it broke out of this descending wedge here, and which again is a bullish sign. I'm going to be leaning on the week's low as the support, and Friday's high is the resistance, and this is the 50-day, not far away as well, so that'll potentially be some resistance. But if it can pop above its 50-day, I mean, I'll tell you what, this thing may be on to its next move higher. It's definitely been consolidating here for quite some time, so it might, challenge these highs, and then, everyone will be scratching their head when this thing's much higher, and this consolidation will again just add more fuel to a potential move higher. Again, here's the VIX RSI. Definitely got overbought in here. So again, I would like to see maybe some consolidation in here inside day and see what we can go from there. I think that's all I really have for the indices going into the week. As you could tell, I'm definitely more to the bull side, but we'll see how the geopolitical garbage works its way. So it's definitely still a jittery market, but I think definitely technically acting well. Another thing I want to add is if we were really in a bearish kind of dead cat bounce off these lows, I just don't see moves like this happening in some biotechs or whatnot. I mean, that's a pretty impressive move in stocks like GILD. I mean, you can go LinkedIn. I mean, there's money getting put to work here, and if things were really that weak, I just don't see these type of situations happen. Even Netflix peaked above a level on Friday and looks really strong. Apple, I mean, it's definitely going back, challenge these highs. I mean, some big, Microsoft, another impressive move last week. Even Intel is coming back. So I think the market definitely has this bullish undertone, and we'll see how that develops going into the week. So anyway, without further ado, thanks for watching.